The karate tournament was packed. Madison Square Garden. Chuck Norris, undefeated middleweight champion, stood in the center ring. Then someone in the crowd caught his attention. A small Chinese man watching with unusual intensity. Their eyes met. Chuck nodded respect. The man nodded back. Neither knew that moment would lead to the most famous fight scene in cinema history, and a friendship that would last beyond death. New York City, 1968. International Karate Championships. Chuck Norris was at his peak. Undefeated middleweight champion, 6-time world champion, the best tournament fighter in America. That night at Madison Square Garden, he was demonstrating technique between matches. In the audience, Bruce Lee watched. He'd come to observe American martial artists, study their methods, see how they moved compared to traditional Chinese kung fu. Chuck's technique was impressive, fast, powerful, Western karate influenced by his military training, clean, efficient, no wasted movement. After the demonstration, Chuck was approached by a small Asian man in casual clothes. "Excuse me, Mr. Norris, I'm Bruce Lee. I teach martial arts in Los Angeles." Chuck shook his hand. "Bruce Lee? I've heard about you, the guy from the Green Hornet. My students talk about Kato's fighting style. That's me." Bruce smiled. "Your technique is very good, your footwork especially. May I ask, have you studied any Chinese martial arts?" "A little, but mostly karate, Okinawan style, some judo. I noticed you telegraph your reverse punch. Your shoulder drops slightly before you strike. Against a fast opponent, that could be exploited. Most people would take offense." Chuck was intrigued. "Show me." They found a quiet corner. Bruce demonstrated. "Watch, when you prepare to strike, your body does this." Bruce mimicked Chuck's technique perfectly, showing the shoulder telegraph. Against someone watching carefully, that's a tell. Now if you keep the shoulder level and generate power from the hip rotation instead. Bruce showed the correction. Chuck tried it. Immediately felt the difference. That's better, more deceptive. "May I show you something else?" Bruce asked. "Please." For the next hour, they exchanged techniques. Chuck showed Bruce tournament-style point fighting. Bruce showed Chuck Wing Chun trapping hands. Neither tried to prove superiority, both genuinely wanted to learn. Other martial artists gathered, watching. This was unusual. Champions didn't usually share techniques, especially across styles. But Bruce and Chuck were different. They cared about effectiveness, not ego. "You know," Chuck said eventually, "I've never met someone who could break down technique like you. The way you explain body mechanics, it's like science." "That's exactly what it is. Physics, leverage, efficiency. We should train together sometime. I'd like that." They exchanged information. A friendship was born. What started as mutual respect would become something deeper. But first Chuck had to learn Bruce's most important lesson. Real martial arts isn't about winning tournaments. Los Angeles. Chuck started training at Bruce's school regularly. Bruce taught him Jeet Kune Do philosophy, adaptation, simplicity, directness. "Your tournament style is very good," Bruce said one day. "But it's sport, rules, point scoring. Have you ever been in real street fight?" "In the military, yeah." "Different from tournaments." "Exactly. Tournament fighting teaches bad habits. You pull your punches. You stop at first contact. You wait for the referee. In real combat there's no referee, no rules, no stopping." Bruce demonstrated. "In tournament you score with this, light tap to chest. In real fight you do this, full power strike through the target. Different mindset, different intention." Chuck absorbed everything. Bruce's philosophy was revolutionary. Absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, add what is specifically your own. "But I've spent years perfecting karate kata," Chuck said. "Traditional forms. You're saying that's useless?" "Not useless, but limited. Forms are good for conditioning, for understanding movement, but real fighting is chaos, unpredictable. You can't rely on prearranged patterns. You have to adapt instantly." They sparred regularly. Chuck was bigger, 5'10", 170 pounds of muscle. Bruce was smaller, 5'7", 140 pounds. But Bruce's speed and precision were phenomenal. "You're incredibly fast," Chuck said after one session. "How do you generate that much power from such short distances?" Bruce explained body mechanics, how to use the entire body as a whip, how to time impact for maximum force, how relaxation creates speed, and speed creates power. Chuck started incorporating Bruce's teachings into his own style. His students noticed the change, more fluid, more adaptable, less rigid. Their friendship deepened beyond martial arts. Chuck met Linda and baby Brandon. Bruce met Chuck's wife and children. They had dinner together, talked philosophy, life, dreams. "I want to make real martial arts films," Bruce told Chuck one evening. "Not the fake Hollywood kung fu, real techniques, real philosophy. Show the world what martial arts actually looks like." "You should. You'd be amazing on screen." "Hollywood doesn't agree. They keep casting me as villain, sidekick, never the hero." "Then go somewhere they will cast you as the hero." "I might have to." Bruce went to Hong Kong and became a star. Then he called Chuck with an offer that would change both their lives and create cinema history. Phone call from Hong Kong. Chuck was teaching class when the call came. "Chuck, it's Bruce. I need to talk to you about something important." "Bruce, how's Hong Kong?" "Amazing. I've made 2 films, both massive hits. Now I'm writing and directing my own film, and I want you in it." "Me? I'm not an actor. You're a fighter. A real fighter. That's what I need." "Chuck, I'm tired of fake martial arts on screen, wire work, trampolines, sped-up film. I want to show real martial arts, real technique, and I want to fight someone who can actually fight back. Someone the audience will believe is a genuine threat." "What's the role?" "The final boss. The ultimate challenge. We fight in the Roman Colosseum. No wires, no tricks, just you and me. Full speed, real techniques. The audience will see what real martial arts looks like." Chuck hesitated. "Bruce, I've never acted. You don't need to act. Just be yourself. Be the champion you are. The fight will speak for itself." "Chuck, this film will be seen by millions. This is your chance to show the world what you can do, and it's my chance to prove that authentic martial arts can be cinema." "When do we shoot?" "Next month. Rome. 2 weeks. I'll cover everything. And Chuck, I'm going to make you look like the most dangerous fighter in the world, because you are." Chuck laughed. "All right, I'm in. There's one condition." "What?" "The fight has to look real, which means it has to hurt. We'll use control, but there will be contact. Real contact. Can you handle that?" "Bruce, I've been hit by the best fighters in the world. I can handle it." "Good, because I want this fight to be legendary." Rome, Italy, 1972, Colosseum exterior. Chuck arrived on location. The production was smaller than Hollywood films but more focused. Bruce had complete creative control. "Welcome to Rome." Bruce greeted him. "Ready to make history?" "Ready. But I have to warn you, I might actually hit you. I'm counting on it. That's what makes it real." They choreographed for 3 days, not like Hollywood where every move is pre-planned and repeated until perfect. Bruce wanted spontaneity, reality. "We plan the structure," Bruce explained. "Beginning, middle, end. But within that, we react to each other. If you throw a real technique, I respond with real defense. It keeps everything authentic." They worked out the fight flow. Start with mutual respect, testing each other, escalating intensity. Bruce dominates early, Chuck adapts, come back, even match, final technique. Bruce wins but acknowledges Chuck's skill. "I want the audience to believe you could win," Bruce said. "You're not just a villain to defeat, you're a worthy opponent, a master in your own right. I appreciate that. Most films, the hero's opponent is just a punching bag. Not in my film. In my film, both fighters are warriors. The fight is about testing each other, not destroying each other." The shoot day arrived. The Colosseum location was stunning, ancient, historic, the perfect arena for a battle of titans. Bruce wore his iconic yellow tracksuit. Chuck wore black, the visual contrast perfect. "Ready?" Bruce asked. "Let's do this." The camera rolled. What happened next became the most famous fight scene in martial arts cinema. Chuck threw a real roundhouse kick. Bruce blocked, absorbed the impact. Chuck felt the power in Bruce's block. This wasn't movie fighting. This was real. Bruce countered with a flying kick, full speed. Chuck dodged barely, felt the air displacement. If that had connected, they moved through the choreography, but it was alive, reactive, real. Each technique executed with full power and control. The impacts were genuine. The sweat was real. The exhaustion authentic. Between takes, they helped each other. "That last combo amazing," Chuck said, "but your balance was off on the landing. Try shifting your weight sooner." "Thanks." "And your reverse punch. Perfect now. No telegraph." The crew watched in awe. These weren't actors pretending. These were warriors showcasing their art. The final sequence, Bruce's jump spinning kick followed by ground strikes. They did it in one take. Perfect. When Bruce finished Chuck, both warriors were exhausted, drenched in sweat, bruised, but grinning. "Cut." Director called. I've never seen anything like that." Bruce helped Chuck up. They hugged. "You're incredible," Bruce said. "Thank you for making this real. Thank you for the opportunity. I think we just created something special." They had no idea how special. That fight would influence martial arts cinema for the next 50 years. Way of the Dragon became a global phenomenon. But less than a year later, Chuck received a phone call that would devastate him. July 20, 1973. The phone call. Chuck was teaching when his wife interrupted. "Chuck, there's a call. It's about Bruce." Something in her voice made Chuck's stomach drop. "What happened?" He took the phone. Linda's voice broken. "Chuck, Bruce is gone. He died this afternoon. Cerebral edema. He collapsed, and they couldn't save him." Chuck's legs gave out. He sat heavily. "That's impossible. He's 32 years old. He's the healthiest person I know. I know. But he's gone, Chuck. He's gone." The funeral was massive. Hong Kong. Thousands of fans. Bruce's students. His family. Chuck flew immediately, still in shock. At the service, Chuck was asked to be a pallbearer. He carried Bruce's casket alongside James Coburn, Steve McQueen, Danny Nosanto, and others. The weight of the casket was nothing compared to the weight in his heart. Later, Linda approached Chuck. "He loved you, you know. He told me you were one of the few people in martial arts who truly understood what he was trying to do. Not just the techniques, the philosophy. I learned everything from him," Chuck said, voice breaking. "He changed how I thought about martial arts, about life, and now he's gone, and I never got to tell him how much it meant. He knew. Bruce always knew."
Chuck looked at the casket, his friend, his teacher, his brother in martial arts, gone at 32. It made no sense. In the months after, Chuck struggled. He'd lost more than a friend. He'd lost a mentor, a creative partner, a source of inspiration. He threw himself into teaching, into perfecting the techniques Bruce had taught him, into keeping Bruce's philosophy alive through his students. "Why are you teaching us these techniques?" a student asked one day. "These aren't traditional karate moves. Because Bruce Lee taught me that tradition isn't about preserving the past. It's about taking what works and making it better. These techniques work. Bruce proved it, and now it's my responsibility to pass them on." Chuck thought his connection to Bruce ended with death, but then something happened that proved their bond was stronger than he'd imagined. 1978. 5 years after Bruce's death, Chuck was now a successful actor himself. His karate skills and the fame from Way of the Dragon had opened Hollywood doors. He was filming Good Guys Wear Black. During a fight scene, the director wanted Chuck to do a specific kick, traditional movie style, pulled, fake-looking. "Can I show you something different?" Chuck asked. "What?" Chuck demonstrated a technique Bruce had taught him. Fast, powerful, camera-friendly but authentic. "Where'd you learn that?" "Bruce Lee taught me. He showed me how to make real techniques work for camera without losing their power." The director loved it. "Do that instead." Chuck smiled. Bruce was still teaching him, still influencing his work, still present. In 1980, Chuck published a book about his martial arts philosophy. He dedicated it to Bruce Lee, who taught me that the best fighter is not a boxer, karate, or judo man. The best fighter is someone who can adapt to any style. Reporters asked about Bruce. Chuck always spoke with reverence. "Bruce Lee was the most dedicated martial artist I ever met. He didn't just practice martial arts, he lived it, breathed it. Everything he did was about perfecting his art and sharing it with the world." "What was your favorite memory of him?" "Every moment training together. But if I had to pick one, it's Rome. Filming that fight in the Colosseum. Bruce pushed me to my absolute limit, made me better than I thought I could be. And afterward, both of us exhausted, bruised, sweating, he hugged me and said, 'This is what martial arts is really about. Two warriors bringing out the best in each other.' That's Bruce. He didn't want to beat opponents, he wanted to elevate them." In 1990, Chuck was inducted into the Black Belt Hall of Fame. During his speech, he broke down. "The person who should be here is Bruce Lee. He revolutionized martial arts, took it from mysticism and tradition into science and effectiveness. Every modern martial artist owes him a debt. I certainly do. Not a day goes by that I don't use something he taught me. Not just in fighting, in life." Backstage, a young martial artist approached. "Mr. Norris, is it true you fought Bruce Lee?" "I didn't fight him. We performed together, showed our arts. There's a difference. Who would have won in a real fight?" Chuck smiled sadly. "The wrong question. The right question is, what did we both gain from training together?" And the answer is, everything. Bruce taught me that martial arts isn't about defeating others. It's about perfecting yourself. The Colosseum fight wasn't about who won. It was about two masters showcasing their arts. And in that sense, we both won. Present day, Chuck Norris, now in his 80s, still teaches. His school in Texas displays a large photo, Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris in the Colosseum, mid-fight, both warriors at their peak. A young student asks, "Sensei Chuck, everyone wants to know who was better, you or Bruce Lee?" Chuck walks to the photo, touches it gently. "Bruce was smaller, faster, more technical. I was bigger, stronger, more powerful. But that's not what made Bruce special. What made him special was his philosophy, his openness, his willingness to learn from anyone and teach everyone. But in a real fight, we'd both be trying to avoid fighting. That's what real martial artists do. We train so we don't have to fight. Bruce taught me that." He said, "The best fight is no fight. People always want to know who's strongest, who'd win, who's better. Bruce taught me those are ego questions. The real question is, are you better today than yesterday? That's the only competition that matters." "Did you love him?" Chuck's eyes well up, like a brother. "We spoke different styles, came from different backgrounds, but we spoke the same language, martial arts, and that language transcends everything else. Race, culture, competition. When two warriors meet with respect, they become family. Bruce was my family. What would you say to him if you could?" Chuck looks at the photo for a long moment. "Thank you, for seeing me not as competition but as a partner, for pushing me to be better, for trusting me with your vision, for teaching me that strength isn't about defeating others, it's about elevating them." His voice breaks. "And I'm sorry I never told you while you were alive how much you meant to me." He turns to his students. "That's your lesson today. Tell the people you respect that you respect them. Tell your training partners you value them. Tell your teachers they've changed you. Don't wait. Bruce and I had 5 years. That wasn't enough. Make sure the people in your life know their impact before it's too late." White text on black. Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris trained together from 1968 to 1973. Their friendship transcended styles, cultures, and competition. The Colosseum fight in Way of the Dragon 1972 is considered one of the greatest martial arts scenes ever filmed. Both warriors performed their techniques at full speed with minimal choreography. Bruce Lee died July 20th, 1973, at age 32. Chuck Norris was a pallbearer at his funeral. Chuck Norris went on to become a martial arts film icon, always crediting Bruce Lee as his greatest influence. Today, Chuck Norris still teaches martial arts and speaks about Bruce Lee's philosophy. The best fighter is someone who can adapt to any style. Their friendship proved that martial arts isn't about defeating opponents, it's about bringing out the best in each other.
Final image.
Photo of Bruce and Chuck in the Colosseum, both smiling between takes, arms around each other's shoulders. Warriors, friends, brothers. Voiceover, Bruce Lee's actual voice. A good friend who points out mistakes and imperfections and rebukes evil is to be respected as if he reveals the secret of some hidden treasure. Be water.